Hey, I am TC, your girlfriend, not girlfriend, and the most honest F buddy you've never had. How I found my new FWB Adam. I have another quick story time for you guys. Let's get into it. If you've been watching my channel, then you know about the catastrophic events of the ending of my last friends with benefits relationship with a guy named Tyler. So Tyler ended in December, Christmas of 2024. And it was while I was away in the DMV area for Christmas. And I got back to California January, I think like the first week of January. So I'm here by myself and I'm sad, trying to put the pieces back together because all I know of California is Tyler. I stumbled upon Tyler fairly soon after I moved to California. So all of my time in California has been being an F buddy with Tyler. Just like I didn't really do much else relationship wise. So anyway, after that dissolved, I basically had no, dating life, sex life, whatever. I wasn't even feeling sexy or wanting to have sex anyway, but I was feeling extremely lonely. I discussed it on this channel. It definitely was a thing. I was very lonely. And I was like, I'm just not a type of person that likes to experience positives in life by myself. So I need a friend. And it's not to say like I needed another F buddy, but I needed an actual friend in San Diego, like somebody who was going to be thugging it out with me daily. Like when I'm not having a good day, I can call up, go over their house, hang out, and not feel like I have to deal with this crappy day alone. Now, granted, I have my sister whom I talk to on a daily or every other day basis, but she has her own thing going on, and she's also all the way back on the East Coast. So there's a time difference, work schedules, everything like that. And most of the friends I have in California are industry related or like work related. So they're all in the film industry, and I don't want to bother them with my troubles, like when you have friends that are connected to the work you want to do, it's a little bit different. Your relationship is a bit different. Now it can get to a point of just like casual friendship, but it's generally not there. You don't want to weird anybody out with the crap that you're going through. So I was like, okay, how do I find this new friend? And I was not specifically looking for a friends with benefits, but it was on the consideration table. That's why I tell you, if you are considering entering into a friends with benefits relationship with someone who long-term relationship is on the table for them, you're in dangerous territory. Because although I was not looking for a F buddy specifically, it was definitely on the table. I was open to it. And it's easier to come by because I'm open to it. So as I'm in my days feeling lonely and things are kind of sucking, I was like, I have to do something. I have to find a friend because I know I want a friend. How do I do that? Because I'm not at all into the bar scene or the club scene. Like I do like to go to the club, dance, because that's what I like to do. I like to dance, but I don't drink and I don't smoke. So there's not much else for me to do at some of these places. I was not feeling very inclined to going to the club or the bar or anything like that. I mean, bar definitely not, but the club by myself, because I like to dance with my friends. I like to experience fun in life with my friends. So I was like, I'm gonna have to find a friend the new fashioned way, not the old fashioned way. I made my first step toward an app. I know it sounds terrible, but I was like, all right, which app am I going to download? So I go on YouTube and I start looking at YouTube videos to figure out which app I was going to download, because I didn't want to download more than one. I didn't want to be talking to all these people. Like I said, my schedule gets busy. I don't like my brain. I don't have the brain capacity to be talking to too many people at one time about what I feel is nothing. I mean, becoming friends is something, but it's just like you got to go through this whole process before you get there. So I didn't feel like doing that. After all the videos I watched on YouTube, I landed on Hinge. So I download the app and I start creating the profile. And there's like all these things you have to fill out, all these prompts you have to fill out before you actually have the profile. And by the time I got to the last prompt, I want to say maybe the last couple prompts, I was like, F this, I don't want to do it no more. And I closed the app. I didn't delete it. I just closed the app and was like, I'm not getting on an app. I'm not made for an app. I don't feel like an app. And then I was also worried that people that I knew were going to see me on that. It was just, that's all I can say about that. So anyway, a week goes by and I'm starting to feel really lonely again. And I was like, okay, I need to create this profile because it's just not gonna work. So I get on there and I'm very specific about what I want. I didn't even mention anything about me being in film, none of the other little quirky stuff that is necessary for people to put on there when they're trying to find someone to date. Because I was on there trying to just find a friend to hang out with, I was very specific about, I was very specific about my interests and wanting somebody who aligned with my interests. Now, is that what I got? Not necessarily. There's people who were not aligned with my interests that were trying to match with me. And I was like, bro, I can't do anything with this. We don't have anything to talk about. What are you trying to do here? But regardless, that's always going to happen. I got on that app looking for someone who aligned very closely with my interests, and their pictures seemed to be very chill. I'm allergic to pets, so I was not looking for all the pictures with the dogs. Everybody has a dog. I am very allergic to dogs. Like, my lips will swell up and it's all bad. So I ended up matching with a few. I want to say in total I matched with under 12 people. And I had a few conversations, not many that I kept up with, but there was this one conversation where he actually mentioned that he was into film, which I didn't mention on my profile, but it just like came about in our conversation. And the conversation did not extend too long. I think it only lasted a couple days before he was like, hey, do you mind taking this conversation offline and going to a coffee shop or something? And I was like, perfect. I love tea. Let's grab tea and you can grab coffee if that's what you like. And so I ended up meeting with him and our interests were very aligned. He was the person that he was online, and that person happened to be Adam. Now, when I met with Adam, the first day meeting with him, I told him, like, after we walked, we spent a few hours together talking. That's all we did the whole time, just talk. And after we made it back to the car, because we walked all the way to a park that was a ways down the road, and then we walked all the way back. And after we made it back to the car, we were about to go our separate ways. I told him, hey, listen, this was a great day, but I am not looking for anything serious. If that is what you are looking for, I'm completely fine with this having been a great day, spending it with a great person, and us never seeing each other again. But I don't want to waste your time. I'm really not looking for anything long-term at all, like not even considering it. And he looked at me and he said, okay, I understand. I had a really good time and I do still want to see you again. So in my head, I was like, man, because I mean, this was only, oh yes, I did not put together the timeline for you. So I downloaded the app and I met Adam, I want to say the first week I had the app. Yeah, week and a half, something like that I had the app. So it was not a long time at all. And he was the first and only person I met up with on that app, because after meeting Adam, I was like, okay, cool. I don't really need to not after meeting him, but after meeting with him, chatting, having like hollow conversations with other people on the app, I was like, first of all, they didn't even really align with my interests. And I was really looking for somebody that aligned closely to my interests because I knew I wanted a friend. And you can be friends with someone who's not interested in the stuff that you're interested in completely, but no, that's just not what I wanted. I wanted somebody who aligned with what I was looking for. So after I'm like, cool, vibing with Adam, I don't need any more of that. So shortly after me and Adam decided to link up again, I don't think me and Adam saw one another again until maybe about 3 weeks later or 2.5 weeks later, something like that. Because I was going out of town. Yeah, it was probably about 3 weeks later. I was going out of town and he was also going out of town. I was going to Bali and he was going on his separate snowboarding trip. We just happened to be going out of town for the same 2 weeks in February. So that was perfect. Like literally we were almost out of town the same days. I think I just left a few days earlier than he did. But we both ended up getting back to California on Valentine's Day. And during our trips, we didn't even talk to each other that much. We just kind of let each other do our own thing. And it was great. I felt good. I was still processing, healing, and all of that. Bali was a whole separate, terrible, but then great once my sister got their thing, because Tyler, and it was just a whole separate thing. So anyway, when I got back, to keep this story time quick, like it's supposed to be, me and Adam really just linked up and enjoyed spending time with each other for the time that we had to spend with one another. We had busy lives, we were doing things, but when we met up together, it was like we were in this magical world, just hanging out. I mean, we wasn't even having sex. We were just hanging out, watching shows, talking about film stuff, planning film stuff. I mean, it was nothing short of great, to be honest. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is somebody who I can spend an extended period of time with continually. And I tell this story because the important part here was who I even decided to match with. Because even out of those 12 people, like they all didn't match the interest that I wanted, which is why the conversations were short-lived. They would have a couple of the most important things that I was looking for interest-wise. And I was just really focused on that because I knew if I wanted a friend or a friend with benefits, what I'm looking for is not marriage. What I'm looking for is to have fun now. And who do you have fun now with? People who are interested in the same things that you're interested in. People whose vibe aligns with yours. I really was not looking for Mr. Instagram famous, Mr. Broad shoulders, and I was not looking for that. If you are too into you, then you can't be into me, and that's just how I feel. And I don't mean like sexually or anything like that. I just mean, it looks to me like you're going to be thinking a lot about yourself, and I don't like that. I needed somebody I felt I was going to vibe with, and I went into that app specifically looking for what I wanted, which was a friend, and Adam happened to come from that. I know saying that it wasn't difficult, and the fact that I found this friend within a week and a half of having the app, I know that guys are going to say like, yeah, you're a female, so that's easy for you to do. But ironically, a lot of females have a problem finding somebody they vibe with on those apps. I do feel like people may be getting on there thinking they're looking for one thing but looking for another, and that's what prevents them from finding it, or it taking so long for them to find it. Or maybe I'm just really that lucky and the universe was like, I pulled Tyler out of your life so that Adam could appear in your life, because you and Adam are more closely aligned in terms of this stage of your life. Because Adam happened to be wanting to put more film into his very professional life. And I am at a stage in my life where I need someone who is going to breathe film life into me, because it's difficult to continue to stay motivated, honestly. So I think that just about concludes my short story time today. Of course, if you have any questions or you want me to go into any more detail about specifically finding an FWB or like a friend, a really close friend that you're going to be spending a good amount of time with, feel free to ask in the comments below. Maybe some other things that I did specifically during that period of time that may have aided in me finding one in a week and a half. But as always, until the next video, be free, have fun, be safe, and enjoy.